For the 4th edition, the prestigious LESAFFRE Cup rewards the world's best bakers and offers them a chance to participate in the Coupe du Monde de la Boulangerie. An exceptional jury, made up of renowned professionals, will travel the world to find the best bakers in their countries, in Africa, Mediterranean, Asia Pacific, Europe, and for this selection, the Americas. Following national selections, bakers from 9 countries remained in the competition and for the past few months have been preparing for the challenge of their lives. Each team must create products in the 3 flagship specialties: baguette and world breads, Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread making, and also an artistic piece. At the end, 2 of these teams will go on to the Coupe du Monde de la Boulangerie. Welcome to the greatest baker show.
Our 9 teams have set up shop in Buenos Aires for this America's selection, a blend of elegance, architecture, character, and history. It is certainly the most European city in Latin America. LESAFFRE has 13 factories on the South American continent, in particular 2 factories in Buenos Aires, as well as a baking center, thanks to which the group gives its all to promoting the professions linked to bread.
Through this high-level baking competition, LESAFFRE wants to show how important it is for us, the training of bakers, and also how important it is to have high-quality bread wherever you are all over the world.
We have an experience of more than 12 years and we engage ourselves in a continuous improvement process to create a meeting place for excellence, innovation and trends in the artisanal and multicultural professional that is bakery.
The teams you are about to see made it through the previous selections in the 4 corners of the Americas zone, and they have just one thing in mind: winning the prestigious LESAFFRE Cup and bragging a ticket to the Coupe du Monde de la Boulangerie. Our candidates must astound an exceptional jury, presided over by Pierre Zimmermann. The French baker, master baker, left to teach at the French pastry school in Chicago nearly 10 years ago and has opened many bakeries. Schooled by the best, in particular at the École Les Notes in Paris, our jury president was himself a world champion at the Coupe du Monde de la Boulangerie.
I'm very proud to be the president of the jury of this new LESAFFRE Cup. I'm happy to meet some of the best bakers in the world. I will also discover breads from other cultures.
Here he will be accompanied by François Brandt. Originally from the French region of Alsace, he learned the basics of baking, then traveled the world thanks to his profession. With his family, he settled in the Netherlands and became the best pastry chef in Holland by winning the Dutch Pastry Awards competition. A few years later, he won the Master Baker title in the Artistic Piece category. He passes on his knowledge by giving lessons at the Baking Institute in Holland.
I accepted with big pleasure the invitation of LESAFFRE to be part of the LESAFFRE Cup jury. And I must confess, I miss the ambience of competition, full of intensity and emotion.
He will also be able to count on Yoon Chul Jang. Don't be fooled by the tender age of this young Korean baker. In 2005, the bakery prodigy graduated from the French National Baking and Pastry Making Institute, and for several years he has been working alongside Jean-François Fayol, one of France's master bakers. Since 2013, Yoon Chul Jang has owned the famous La Montie bakery in Seoul. He takes pride in conserving traditional methods and keeping demanding customers happy.
A few weeks ago, Pierre Zimmermann, the jury president, invited me to join the jury. I accepted straight away, with great delight. I'm going to do my best to be fair.
The gastronomic critic, Diego Gaona, will score the candidates and will award the Gastronomic Critics Prize. Finally, food journalist Louis Lehit will award the Press Prize.
At this stage of the competition, The jury will be uncompromising with our candidates. Each day, 2 different teams will go head-to-head, creating products defined in the regulations, products of their own creation, as well as an improvised product. Our candidates must give their best. The smallest detail can make the difference. Victory can rest on the taste, the consistency of products, the weight, or even the look. Our teams are getting ready to face a race against the clock. The night before the competition, the bakers will draw at random the improvised products and will then have 2 hours of preparation time. On D-Day, the first start is at 5 a.m. for the 2 competing teams, and candidates will have 8 hours and not a minute more to create the products for their challenge. While the other teams are landing in Buenos Aires, the team from Argentina is the first to enter the competition. From the moment they arrive, our candidates find themselves the focus of journalists, who cannot wait to hear how they feel just moments before this America's selection is launched. This is it. The much-awaited day has arrived for Coach Sergio Gonzalez and his team. Our candidates' families follow the competition avidly from the sidelines. The pressure is tangible. The young baker, Pablo, the baguette and world breads candidate, has chosen to present to the jury the masa uno, an Argentinian bread made with paprika and onion.
Hello, I would like to present to you a bread of my own creation. I love the combination of colors. This bread is the fruit of my imagination.
What I love definitely in that bread is that design, that bicolor design. It's a very simple way to I saw you doing it. It was very simple and it looks very, very nice.
After answering questions from the jury members, Pablo makes way for Gaston Alejandro, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate. From his various creations, Gaston presents to the jury a dulce de leche with yerba mate, a typically Argentinian product.
My Viennese pastry is made from yerba mate, an ingredient that we use a lot in teas here in Argentina.
Finally, George presents his artistic piece, an architectural piece composed of different structures all linked to each other with a special twist. The view is the same whichever way the piece is viewed. A real feat for this young baker. While the day is ending for the Argentinian team, who represented their country's flag with dignity, we find the teams from Brazil and Chile arriving at the baking center very motivated. After looking around the facilities, the candidates begin their 2 hours of preparation before the big competition day the following morning.
Second day of the competition, 2 new teams compete. The Chilean coach, Catalina Pino Miranda, has chosen a mixed team in a very masculine environment.
What we hope for in this competition is to really enjoy this experience and to produce great work from start to finish.
The second team competing today is Brazil, coached by Fernando Oliveira Eduardo.
Our team is well prepared and ready for this competition. The candidates have been training and working for months. The team is very competitive and we are going to win.
Somos a equipe brasileira, venham nos assistir porque vamos ganhar!
The team from Chile in mid-preparation. Carlos, the baguette and world breads candidate, has already competed in the LESAFFRE Cup in 2010 and is counting on successfully winning over the jury this time with his masa madre sourdough bread. Juan is the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making specialist. He will create the Flor de Girasol Dulce, sunflower sweet.
I have created a product using 100% organic and natural ingredients. It is very clever to have used natural products that are also healthy. Well done.
Finally, Victoria presents her artistic piece, Chile seen through the Esmeralda, an artistic piece that pays homage to the four-masted brigantine schooner and the heroic act of its captain, Arturo Prat Chacon. At the same moment, the Brazilian team is mid-competition in front of a very female fan club. Amal Rido, the baguette and world bread specialist, is creating cassava bread made from manioc flour. Manioc is the core diet of Brazilian indigenous peoples, and when the Portuguese arrived in Brazil, they started to use it in cooking. The jury takes note of the quality and precision of Amal Rido's work, especially the finesse of the 8 braids he has created. The Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate Antonio presents to the jury bread called açaí, made from coconut, a typically Amazonian product. Finally, Eduardo pays homage to Amazonia with his artistic piece by using typical local products that the Indians sell on a day-to-day basis.
As for me, I really like the very accomplished construction technique with very solid elements and others that lend lightness. And the mask is truly magnificent.
Once the presentation is over, it is time for tasting and jury scoring. The day is done for our 2 teams. They will know if they have succeeded in their challenge in a few days during the results announcement ceremony. At the same time, the day is starting for Costa Rica and Ecuador, who arrive at the baking center. After an obligatory turn past the random draw for the required content of their challenge, our candidates wish each other good luck and launch themselves into the 2 hours of preparation.
This morning, we meet the motivated and focused coaches. Moises Carmona, the trainer from Costa Rica.
Today, we can say that we are satisfied with what we have accomplished to this point.
Costa Rica somos pura vida!
And Mauricio Acuna, coach from Ecuador.
My team is made up of professional men with experience and know-how.
Nos vemos en Francia. Fuerza, Ecuador!
Despite the competition, the 2 teams seem to get on very well. Gerson, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate, is proposing for the jury a hodadre Danish with banana and chocolate, a flaky pastry with chocolate and cream of banana.
What's also nice with this product, you got it's with the chocolate and the banana inside, it's very smooth, and you got the crunchy of the dough with it, so it's a nice combination.
Michael, the young baguette and world breads candidate, is presenting to the jury the Pan Regalo del Mediterraneo, a bread made with green pepper, black olives, and bacon inspired by his family. After listening to the jury comments, Michael makes way for Pablo. Pablo presents his artistic piece on the theme of the abolition of Costa Rica's army and the arrival of a free democracy. The butterfly resting on the end of the cannon symbolizes the return to peace and nature. It's the turn of the team from Ecuador. Jürgen, the baguette and world breads candidate, proposes for the jury the Rodilla de Cristo, a bread of his own creation, made from cheese and achiote, a coloring from an Ecuadorian plant that is also a condiment and is sometimes used by women to color their hair. Walter, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making specialist, presents one of his creations, the Rosa Equatoriana. This pastry takes its name from a variety of rose, of which Ecuador is the main exporter in the world. As for Milton, he presents his artistic piece that pays homage to the diversity of Ecuador and its 3 regions, and to the importance of reforestation to preserve the natural habitat.
We know that when we pay attention to the planet, we make life on Earth better. In my artistic piece, I've reprised a few of my country's emblems.
The products are measured, weighed, and tested by the jury and the technical team. who must score the young bakers' creations. We are halfway through the competition, and the pressure is mounting for Canada and Mexico, who are preparing to enter the baking center. Heads or tails, and it's decided who will go first into the random draw. So begins the 2 hours of preparation for our candidates, who must successfully get the best head start on the following morning for the big competition day.
The days go by and the pace does not let up. This morning, we find the Canadian team and their coach, Mario Fortin.
I'm so proud of my team. They did great work today because it's a new environment for us, so it was very good to see them.
Marcus, Alan, and James are more motivated than ever. They must go head-to-head with the team from Mexico, coached by Mario Horta.
Our team has worked really hard up to now and has done everything it can to succeed in this competition.
México, vamos a ganar.
Marcus, the baguette and world breads candidate, is proposing for the jury maple cranberries nut bread, a bread made with maple syrup, cranberries, and different types of nut. It's the turn of Alan, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making specialist, who opts to present the famous croissant, a traditional must-have element of a French-style breakfast.
I like your challenge because that's true. The most difficult things to do is always the things you think is the easiest, like a good brioche, a good croissant, the basis of our work, of our job. So it looks very good. You got a nice structure in it, a good control of folding the dough, very good croissant, good baked, good taste, very good.
Finally, James presents his artistic piece called The Voyage that pays homage to the explorer Samuel de Champlain for his spirit, his imagination, and his daring.
Bravo.
At the same time, Antonio, the baguette and world bread specialist in the Mexican team, has chosen to present to the jury the pan de arándanos, a sourdough with a malt base containing dried cranberries and walnuts. Lindsay, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate, proposes a bread made from aniseed and brown sugar, a commonly used product in Mexico. It is characterized by its large size because one is often shared by a whole family.
First thought, this would be a bread better than a breakfast pastry, or better than a Viennese pastry. And since he was cutting the bread, he definitely discovered the moisture of that product and the moist crumb and the tender crust. And he was surprised by these wonderful anise flavors, and he found that it's definitely a good bread.
Finally, Ricardo presents his artistic piece that pays homage to the history of Mexico, in particular, the arrival of the Spanish in the Americas.
There was a lot of work behind that showpiece. We found all these elements of that story, and it was great discovering a little bit the history of Mexico behind your bread showpiece.
The jury now has the tough job of scoring the candidates, and the standards are certainly up to the level of this great competition. The time has come to meet the last two teams, Colombia and Uruguay. The candidates are more motivated than ever to give their best in the competition, and so begins a real race against the clock. The aim is always the same: gain the greatest advantage and save the most time.
The day has already dawned over Buenos Aires and announces the last day of competition for our candidates, who can't wait to get started on their challenges. We meet the Colombian team and their coach, Emel Espinal.
With my team, we have arrived in Buenos Aires well prepared, and my team is talented.
Estamos listos para ganar. Sí, sí, Colombia!
They work alongside the team from Uruguay, coached by Hugo Thista.
We are enjoying an absolutely fantastic experience. What has touched me the most is this competition's human aspect. We meet fabulous bakers from the four corners of the Americas, which is very enriching.
Bueno, aquí está Uruguay y estamos listos para competir. ¡Vamos la Chile!
Angel Enrique, the baguette and world bread specialist from Uruguay, presents to the jury the Galeta de Campana Holojandra with an unconventional shape, created by layering.
Schultz says that he says thank you, showing us that type of bread because it's definitely an uncommon method. This laminated bread cut and it looks a little bit like a book, and it was interesting not only in the shape but also really new for all of us in the texture and taste.
Diego Adamar, the Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate, presents an extremely original product, mixing Viennese pastry and smoking techniques with the different scents of lemon, orange, and cinnamon.
This technique is definitely surprising. I didn't expect to see a baker smoking a brioche, but you know, what will be very hard in that type of product is definitely mastering the balance of these smoked flavors with the fragile butter and buttery flavors of a brioche. But it was well done, and so bravo.
Finally, Israel Andres presents his artistic piece that symbolizes the return of democracy in Uruguay and Uruguayan culture. The central piece represents the Constitution.
I like this showpiece, and I have good reason for it because you use lots of techniques like modeling, and it's really very personal showpiece. I recognize your style in your showpiece. Nobody else is gonna do the same piece, so it's very good. I like this. Yes.
It is Colombia's turn to go in front of the jury. Stephen, the young Viennese pastries and gastronomic bread-making candidate, has made a roscan, a sweet bread dough filled with butter and brown sugar with orange zest and scented with vanilla.
Very surprising work. Colombian cooking and pastry making have long been influenced by Europe, but for the past 10 to 15 years, the Colombians have developed their own national specialties and have incorporated them into their products. I'm very happy to have tasted your creation.
Lucas, the baguette and world breads candidate, presents a bread called Disense.
My product is made with cheese and palema, which is cane sugar.
I was nicely surprised with the crumb of the bread. It was a nice color in it. I was also surprised that you used sugar in it, because in Europe we're not used to have as much sugar in bread. So it's really new for us. It's really nice to see that in other countries you use other recipes and other tastes. So I'm very surprised. Very nice bread. Thank you.
Finally, Efren talks about his artistic piece with great feeling. It pays homage to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature, a great figure in magical realism writing, and certainly the most well-known South American author. Gabriel Garcia Marquez died on March 6, 2014, at the age of 87.
I am very moved and honored to see your artistic piece that references Fernando Vidal Buzzi, a great Argentinian man whom I liked very much. He was the South American editorial director who helped with the publication of the work that you have symbolized in your piece. It is a beautiful work. Congratulations.
After this emotional interlude, it is time for our jury to score the candidates. In the beginning, there were thousands of bakers. Now, there are just 9 teams for the Americas selection. Each one has pushed themselves beyond their limits and given their best to represent baking traditions, and their country's flags. But our candidates know only 2 teams will win a ticket to the Coupe du Monde de la Boulangerie. Who among them has won over the jury? Who will win the LESAFFRE Cup? Few hours before the results, let's all discover the next generation of bakers, the young bakery hopefuls. There are 9 of them, and they represent the 9 countries in the Americas selection. Gloria, Oscar, Yesenia, Elian, Tess, Kevin, Jose, William, and Bruno have been preparing for months with their coaches and teams. Their objective? To prepare a children's birthday tea in 4 hours. No precise rule or constraint has been laid down for this challenge, which is quite a departure from the competition's general framework. They will be scored on the taste quality of their products, the originality of their creations, and how the quantity produced suits the event. Our young hopefuls will present their products before the jury members, who, for this challenge only, will be helped by a dozen assistants, all with a keen appetite and high expectations. With the YBH, the Louis LESAFFRE Cup supports and highlights the passing of know-how and the sharing of this beautiful profession of baking with the next generation.
Pierre Zimmerman, Francois Brandt, and Yul Junchang have the task of finding the best bakers among all the candidates from the past few days. Each of the candidates knows that in a few minutes, their life may change. The ceremony starts with a welcome from Francis Decoteni, LESAFFRE Argentina Managing Director.
In a few minutes, we will know the winners' names. Unfortunately, not everyone can be a winner despite the best efforts from all the teams. Bearing in mind the level of excellence required by this competition, all the candidates deserve to win and can therefore be very proud of their achievements. Please give a big round of applause for all the teams.
Corinne Vollert-Lesaf adds a few words and reminds us of the importance of this prestigious competition's values.
This competition is very important for our company. In our family, we love bakers. We are passionate about bread. We scoured the whole world for quality bread, and it is our desire to help with the training of all these men and women in the baking industry.
And talking of the passing on of know-how, let's all find out who will be the young bakery hopeful from this America's selection. Pierre Zimmerman, the jury president, makes his entrance.
El grandissimo Pierre Zimmerman.
We have to, before we start to speak about the Louis LESAFFRE Cup, we have these young bakers, and I think it's a great moment. We will now see 9 of these wonderful and these young bakers. These guys are the future of the artisan bakery, so it's great.
Francois Brandt and Yu Chun-Chang join him and hand each of the candidates the official participation certificate for the Louis LESAFFRE Cup. The pressure is mounting for our young bakers.
The winner is
Canada or South Korea.
And it is Eileen de Hert, the Canadian candidate, who becomes the first female young bakery hopeful in history. With her victory, Eileen proves that women will also have a great place in the future of baking. Now it's time to award the Food Critic Prize. Diego Gaona gets ready to reveal the name of the winning team.
Mi premio es para todos ustedes y especialmente mi mención de hoy es para Ecuador. ¡Ecuador!
And who will take the Press Prize Award? awarded by Luis Lahit.
Señoras y señores, ganador del premio de la prensa generalista es Costa Rica. ¡Costa Rica!
The last of the special prizes to be awarded, the prize for creativity, is awarded by FITHEP President Nestor Enrique Galibert and his daughter Ana Maria.
El país ganador del premio a la creatividad es Argentina.
Now it's time for the grand verdict for our candidates, who are waiting with bated breath for the jury's decision. Christian Vabre, French master baker and creator of the Coup du Monde de la Boulangerie, will receive the 2 winning countries in Paris for the final.
Congratulations to the winners who demonstrated exceptional know-how. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the jury, presided over by Pierre Zimmerman, who did a great job and who chose worthy winners from this selection.
And now I will open the envelope. And now you will open the envelope. Are you ready? Señoras y señores, ya llegó ese tiempo tan esperado. El primer país que va a ir a Francia es the winner, the first team who's going to France in February 2016 for the World Cup of Bakery. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Brazil! ¿Cuál es el segundo equipo o selección que va a ir con Brasil a Francia a participar en la Copa del Mundo de panadería del 2016? Gracias a LESAFFRE. The winner is Canada.
After an Africa-Mediterranean selection that was full of surprises, this America's selection has not disappointed. Throughout the week, the 9 teams have put on an astounding show, and we have lived through the whole spectrum of emotions with them. We are certain that each one of them has a long career in front of them. We would like to wish Brazil and Canada good luck for the Coup du Monde, and we will be back very soon for a new selection. The Europe Louis LESAFFRE Cup in a few weeks.